The entertainment world right now is really good at cranking out a bunch of noise. And the audiences around the country are, I feel from my experience, are looking for people who want to talk authentically. And finding a group of people like Windrider who's actually cultivated an audience that cares about the content, that's a big deal.
If you want to make change, you have to first start by changing the conversation. And today, the conversation that we hear, whether it's in the news media, on our devices, wherever, it's loud. There's a lot of rancor. I think that's why Windrider is attracting such great filmmakers and great stories, because we're known for that deeper conversation.
We're in this time in our culture where so many conversations are divisive, they're combative, and we want people to enter into the conversation with curiosity and with a desire to really learn from another person.
The point is not to bring these issues to people and say, I want you to worry about this or get depressed about this. The point is to say this is an issue within our world that needs to be explored and addressed and something done about it. And I think that's what our audience is trusting us to do.
The films that play here are different. There's something about how they select films that are looking past maybe the content of the film and what the filmmaker and the art is really trying to say to culture. And I think that's fascinating. So often, I don't feel like people really have a deep understanding of what I was trying to say. That connection is very important.
Last night's audience was very enthusiastic. They seemed to be really engaged in the block of films that Windrider had chosen. And I think it was a very strong block. It was very well put together.
Windrider is, it's a brand. It attracts people who want a little bit more substance out of the movies that they're either making or consuming and thinking about.
We believe that cinematic excellence is best served with powerful storytelling. When we look for a film, we are looking for a great story, first and foremost. And then when you couple that with having a chance to meet the filmmaker and to have a conversation about that story with the person who made the film, I think that combination is where the magic happens.
This Q&A was the best moderated Q&A I've been to. Also, they had chairs. Usually I have to stand, and so I loved the chairs. And then the questions from the audience. I actually thought it was a great idea to give people the opportunity to text questions. They were not questions I've gotten before, and that surprised me.
They get it. They get that this is a rare opportunity to hear from a filmmaker and all that went into the creation of that artistic project. And so they ask these unbelievably interesting questions that then generates these really great responses from the filmmaker.
I don't think it would be the same if we just showed the films or if we just had the straight Q&A without a moderator who can guide the discussion and open up that filmmaker and open up the audience so everybody feels willing to explore ideas in their own minds.
Being here tonight, being with such an incredible audience, having every seat in the house filled, feeling that they were just ready to go, that they're seasoned movie pros, and the questions they asked. We've done lots of Q&As around the country, and they were some of the best questions we've gotten.
I feel like most of the people that I've talked to who come to the Windrider Forum are viewing these stories through the understanding that truth can be found anywhere. To me, that is so exciting because where the magic begins isn't necessarily in the theater. It's afterwards when you're having a cup of coffee and talking to somebody about how you interpreted what you just saw.
I think story, to some degree, that term has kind of gotten played out, especially within certain cultures, because everybody wants to talk about the narrative. And I think what people are really interested in is people who are authentically looking to talk about story, where we can debate, there's no correct answer, and this is a culture that does that.
When Windrider first contacted me, I didn't expect to go to multiple Windrider events, and now that I've been to 2, I do think that Windrider is a part of a community that I really want to be involved in going into the future.
It lets people watch these films, learn about these issues, and then have a conversation so that they're processing, they're sorting through what their own thoughts are in a safe environment, and they can start to unpack the issues with each other.
It's the best situation, best scenario that you are accepted, you are welcomed, and whatever the message that I want to deliver, they are waiting to hear it.
I think it's the shared experience between the audience, film, and the filmmaker and their story that makes Windrider different.